Pokemon Pocket's first mini expansion, Mythical Islands, has been out for a few days now, and with it comes quite a few meta shakeups that I'd like to talk about. Before we get started, there are only 68 cards to collect compared to genetic apexes, and with an expansion coming late January, I recommend not spending too much if you can help it. Everything is wonder pickable except the immersive Celebi. Immersive Celebi baby, if you're listening, please come home, you're all I want. But just opening packs at your leisure and doing wonder pick should get you most of this set. Other than that, I've included every deck recipe in the description below, and if that is something you appreciate, please leave a like, a subscribe, as it would mean the world to me and make a massive difference in the YouTube algorithm. Starting us off is the pack cover itself, MewEX. MewEX comes with the unique move Genome Hacking, a move that copies whatever move your opponent's active has, which is amazing. It's a Mewtwo, Charizard, as you're able to come in and one-shot both of them. It being colorless means any deck that struggles with these 4 energy attackers can completely flip the matchup. Mew has a versatility nearly unmatched, and don't be surprised when it's a one of in nearly every deck to deal with Mewtwo and Zard. A personal deck I think will be extremely potent in the meta with the new Mew card is Arcanine EX. Arcanine EX is a monster of a deck that destroys the likes of Pikachu and Celebi, but struggles heavily into decks that can sustain its aggressive 120 damage onslaught, such as, well, Mewtwo and Charizard. This leading Arcanine to taking a supporting role in the powerful Arc-Zard duo, but with the addition of Mew and how rough the meta will be to Zard, I think it's finally time for everyone's favorite Gen 1 dog to take center stage while Mew deals with those pesky Mewtwo's. I will say, anyone trying to sell you on a Mew deck where Mew is the main damage outputter is baiting you, as Genome Hacking is entirely MU dependent and flops completely in the face of Pikachu, and while you can copy an attack like Celebi, Celebi will outscale you and is better suited fixing matchups like the aforementioned Mew and Charizard, so expect to see a lot of them in lists today. Of course, you can't mention Mew, a psychic type Pokemon, without what I believe to be the most nutty card in the set, and that is the addition of Mythical Slab. A very simple effect that reads, draw 1, and if that card is a psychic card, add it to your hand, and if not, put it to the bottom of your deck. That's it, right? So why is it, in my opinion, so overpowered? Well, in Genetic Apex, the 2 best decks were firmly Pikachu and Mewtwo. The latter being extremely strong, but struggling mostly due to the need to find Gardevoir and Charizard decks. With Mythical Slab, they essentially printed an item card that doesn't waste a bench or active slot like Sigilyph, doesn't require energy like Sigilyph, doesn't block supporter usage, also like Sigilyph, can potentially draw through your deck faster than your opponent to get any of your psychics, and in a game that lacks draw power and stage 1-2 searching capabilities, allowing psychic of all decks to get closer to their Kirlia or Gardevoir is a little crazy. And remember that Charizard problem? Well, it's hardly won when you now have Mew that you can, by the way, energy accelerate with Gardevoir. So this and Mythical Slab is enough to push Mewtwo into my de facto #1 deck in the metagame, and honestly, I don't think this deck has a matchup it can't play out of. This list is my personal one. I'll be testing in tournaments over the month, so look out for it. Next, we have a 2-in-1, but to get started, Celebi EX is the other defining card of this set, and I can't stress how conflicted I am about this card. For those who do not know, Celebi is my literal favorite Pokemon ever. I even have a tattoo on my wrist, and it may very well be a top 2 deck, and I should be happy, but it's a coin flip Pokemon? That's right, this Celebi is a coin flip demon, where at 2 energy you can flip coins equal to the amount of energy, and for every heads deal 50 damage. This means theoretically you can load up every single energy you have and infinitely scale. But that seems manageable. How can this little guy be a menace and potentially top 2? Well, let me introduce you to Celebi, and the grass type's new energy cheater Serperior. This Gen 5 starter has finally gotten its time in the sun, sporting the ability Jungle Tolling, allowing all grass energies attached to a grass Pokemon to count for 2. This means fearsome Pokemon like Venusaur EX can attack for 2 energy, and even Eggy EX can retreat for 1 less energy. But most deadly, if you haven't put 2 and 2 together, is that every energy attached on Celebi counts for 2, meaning the attack that was going to flip 2 coins for 100 damage, yeah, nah, we're flipping 4 coins for 200 damage. Attach the 3rd energy, 300 damage. A 4th energy, 400 damage, and so on and so forth. The only thing holding this fearsome combo back is Serperior being a stage 2, and thus unsearchable, whereas Mewtwo with Mythical Slab has a little bit higher consistency, but if we ever get a grass item similar, expect Celebi to usurp even the likes of Mewtwo. This Pokemon is a menace, and here's the list I used to win the first 300 plus person tournament of the Mythical Islands expansion. So you know I'm not just talking that hot gas. The idea of the deck was no frills, attach every energy to Celebi, and go crazy. And as such, I only used the Pokemon necessary to make it happen. Erica and Potions providing many ways to just give you too much healing. And I had many situations for Pikachu where Erica plus double Potion to heal through a Circle Circuit. The day following my tournament win, another Celebi EX took first place using a 1-2 Eggy line, in addition to the Celebi Serp line. Eggy being an excellent 160 HP body that can stall until you can get Celebi maxed out and Serp on board. As for other grass decks Serp can support, I mentioned Venusaur, but I'm skeptical and very anti-stage 2 attackers until we get a little bit more universal support. The only reason Zardy-X got a pass is its matchup into the best deck, and even then, it always felt like I was gambling to get it on board with sufficient energy, which obviously the addition of Arcanine helped alleviate just a little. With decks like Celebi and Mewtwo where the basics are the main attackers, getting a Serperior or Gardevoir respectively just pushes them over the edge. So maybe try the new Eggy and let me know how that feels. Finally, another two-parter, but maybe the real busted of this set, is Gyarados EX and Druddigon. This combination of Pokemon, often found with Greninja, is proving deadly in the tournament scene. Gyarados supporting a massive 180 HP on top of a brutal deal 140 damage. What pushes this strategy over the edge is when you combine it with Greninja or the new Druddigon, which ability reads, every time it takes damage, deal 20 to the attacker. A simple ability, but one that puts everything in the game in range to get KO'd by Gyarados, and for 0 energy to boot. A 100 HP body is especially great into decks like Pika and Mewtwo, who have a hard time actually KOing Druddigon. Greninja also finding its way into these decks for that aforementioned 20 damage setup. This is really cool to see it do so well, when that 4 energy cost made it look deceiving. I didn't think it'd be that good, but the tournament results are telling me otherwise. Here are some decks doing really good with this, and honestly, if you wanted to try Pidgeot EX, it fits into the same concept of decks, and I'll put some of those here too. I'll end this list on a non-EX Pokemon and deck that may answer my original question. Does Mewtwo even have counterplay? And that's the fearsome Scolipede line. The first stage being Whirlipede, who deals 20 and poisons for 1 energy, and when evolved into Scolipede, it deals 70 plus 50, totaling to 120, if the opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, of course. This combo enough to KO the likes of Celebi, Pikachu, Mew, Mewtwo, and even an Arcanine if it attacked. Dark longed for a consistent attacker, and the deck has a lot of stall with Koga and Leaf to get you to your Scully. Salandit, Tauros, and Mew find their way on many of these decks as an extra Pokemon to throw energy on, Salandit being able to combo on the Poison package, Tauros for 3 energies able to deal 120 to Pika, and Mew, of course, as we already talked about, very good into Charizard and Mewtwo respectively. And there you have it. I think these cards are going to be hugely impactful, and honestly there's so many other really good cards I didn't really mention. I think that the new Vaporeon is going to be really good, maybe even see play in those Gyarados decks. I think that the Eevee is also very goofy. It's a deal 20 for every flipped heads, so if you ever want to gamble, you can do that. You're allowed to. I won't do it, but you can do it. Lightning got a lot of support with Dedenne, and Electabuzz, which might help with that Gyarados matchup I mentioned. And also, I didn't even talk about fighting. I think that the new Mankey Primeape line with Marshadow is actually really cool combo. For 1 energy, your Primeape can attack, and you can attach to the Marshadow attack. And then when both of those are fainted, it's 2 prizes. You can finally bring in an EX like either Marowak or Aerodactyl. I was just yapping for a while, and obviously I wanted this video to be out earlier in the week. but I got stuck in Vegas, which is very freaky deaky, and all my equipment was here. So if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon. Currently, it's all for Mofongo Monday stuff, but also, you know, if you want to support the channel, please do. Leave a like, leave a sub. If there's a Pokemon that I missed that you think is also really good, please let me know. I would love to yap with you in the comments below. Other than that, I am signing out. Also, I'm in a onesie.